Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. I am recording our meeting, so if others are unable to join us live, they can watch the recording, or maybe you even want to go back and rewatch the recording at a later date or show it to your colleagues. It's typically posted on our CViConnect YouTube channel, and you can watch that as well as other live events that we've hosted at our YouTube channel. Before we go today, I will post that in the chat as well so that you have easy access to finding that site. For those of you who do not know me, I am Stephanie Steffer, and I'm the business director with CViConnect, and I'm one of the founding teachers of the platform. And prior to this, I was a teacher for the visually impaired and early childhood educator in Michigan for 10 years. And thanks to the Michigan Department of Ed Low Incidence Outreach team, I had the privilege of training directly with Dr. Roman for several years through training at the state level, as well as lots of trainings in person and lots of other reading opportunities and things of that nature. It's led me to also earn my Perkins-Roman CVI range endorsement, which I'm very proud of. So I've learned a lot, and I still have so much more to learn. I think in the field, we would all agree that there is still so much more that we don't know about our kids with CVI. And as our team has learned, our CViConnect team has learned, we continue to make enhancements. And today, one of those enhancements that I want to show you is our improvement to our CViConnect Pro Activity Designer. So if you'd like to stay in the loop with a variety of our updates as they become available, I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, and I will go ahead and share that link in the chat as well so that you can sign up for our newsletter if you're interested. Throughout today's presentation, if you have questions, please feel free to ask them as we go. You can unmute or simply type them in the chat, and I'll do my best to monitor those in the chat as they come in throughout the session. Or if you prefer, you can wait till the end, and I'll definitely have some time at the end where you can ask me some questions as well. All right, over the past few months, we've been collecting a lot of data from the CVI community. We've put out some surveys, and we wanted to know what was the most valuable to you when it comes to finding technology for your students with CVI. And one of the most important things that we found was that you guys were looking for a library of accessible materials, because as educators, you're just constantly creating things yourself, and you're just trying to figure out how to kind of keep your feet underneath you. And then the second thing that you knew is that since CVI materials cannot be a one size fits all, I needed a way to modify those activities to meet my specific learner. And so I wanted to share with you that we have a library of activities that are already available to you. And now with our new activity designer, you'll be able to do just that and modify these activities. So the way that works is in CViConnect, if you want to use our activities, you would need to copy our activity first and then make changes to it, or you can create your own. And here are some of the enhancements that we've made. I only made a quick list because I really just want to get into showing you more of the system. And so we have the same special effects that we've had before, but now it's just a much smoother interface. You're able to add and edit images with just one touch instead of having to kind of search through things. And now you can edit your font size and kind of place it where you want it much easier. And you also can share your creations amongst your team a lot smoother as well. So let's take a quick look at this video, and then I'm going to open my switch the screen share so that my iPad is sharing with you instead, and actually walk through it a little bit slower. But so when you first create an activity, you'll go into the edit, and then when you click the plus in the upper right hand corner, this toolbar is going to appear. And so with this new toolbar, you can simply click on any one of the items and add whatever it is that you want. So for example, if I wanted to add a new image, I would touch on image. And then from here, I can choose, is it a shared image that our district has? That's what that choose from shared library is at the bottom. I can take a picture right there. So I can go ahead and open up the camera and take a picture from my device, or I can open, which is probably the most common, is to open your photo library on your iPad. And so I clicked on that, and you can see I've got access to my entire photo library, and I can scroll through and pick any image that I want to then create my activity, right? So the other option would be in an activity, you might want to add a shape of some kind. So maybe you want to add a square, a ball, a triangle. Those could be things that you want located throughout the screen. Maybe you're working on a shape activity. Maybe you want to say that the child is going to drag the desired image that you want into that shape or whatever. So those are some different basic shapes that you can add into the activity, as well as text. So just by clicking the capital T icon that says text underneath it, my text box appears and it says your text here. I can drag it wherever I want. And then also you'll see this menu bar that pops up with the icons. And so on the top left-hand side, you'll see we have a quick duplicate button. Makes it really easy to create a word and copy it multiple times so they all have the same size and formatting that you want. You can animate the text if you need to. You can make it so the text is draggable. Again, if you were doing a literacy activity and you had different letters spaced out and you wanted to drag them across, you could click on that draggable option, and then have the properties will take you into more additional properties that we have. But using that bar there, you can use the size icon. You can see how it just gets larger and smaller. So just everything seems to be a lot smoother for you. Hopefully you're kind of getting that idea as we go through it. I'm going to stop sharing this screen now and start showing my iPad screen for you. And this is where I was hoping that as I get into the activity, you guys can, jump in, ask any questions that you might have. What is it that you might want to see? And I can show you live in our designer. So here is our activity designer loaded up. Like I said, I've got the images, the text, whatever it is that you want, we can add it in and edit here. So typically, a lot of teachers were telling me that they were using things like Google Slides or PowerPoint. And so we tried to kind of mimic that layout so it looked more familiar and less of like a separate device that you had to learn how to use. And so we wanted to kind of mimic that style for you in being able to create your activities. So maybe an example of an activity would be good. Let's go through and talk about examples of some activities you might do. A lot of questions lately have been on literacy activities. So maybe we want to work on a consonant, vowel, consonant words, so our CVC words, and we're going to work on bot, let's say. And so there's my example word, and I can go in and move that around wherever I want. Maybe I want to change the word then to pot. We can have that down here. Maybe I could have a picture of a pot that goes with it. An example that I've done for some of my students is, oh, actually, I don't want that. I'm going to delete that ball, put in a square instead. And so now what I want to do is, let's actually use the duplicate icon. So I want to duplicate the square. So I have 3 different spots, and then I'm going to make more text. We'll go ahead and edit that text, make this the letter P. Like that is done. I want to make that much larger though, up here. And now I'm going to duplicate it so it's the exact same size. I'm going to change this to the O. Put that there in the middle, and then I'll duplicate it again and drag it over. And I'm going to make this the T. And so now maybe in this activity, the student actually drags these letters down into the squares. So in this case, I'd have to make each of these draggable as well. Looks like that's already taken care of. And then when if I were to click done and save changes, the student can now drag the letters into the squares to spell the word pot, right? So then if I go to pause, I want to go back to edit. I could always come back in here and now change the word to something different. Maybe we're going to do lots of rhyming words. So now we're going to work on hot. So live, while I'm working with the student, I can change the word that we're working on just by changing one letter at a time. Or I could pre-make these so that these were all already adjusted before my student and I started working together. So really simply, I can come in here and adjust whatever it is. So if we have an activity like this CVC activity already created for you, and you wanted to make it for your student, you could quickly modify those words and images. Let me show you another example. I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of here. We started creating this activity where a student was working on how many sounds do they hear. So when we listen to car, we have k and r. So we have the two sounds that are available. So then the student would drag these up, k, r, and then drag them back down, right? Those are the two sounds that they hear in that word. But maybe this picture isn't relevant for your student. So maybe instead you wanted it to become a picture of their mom's car that they're familiar with. So you can click this change image icon. Again, you could take the picture of the car, or you go to the photo library, maybe mom texts you a picture of the car, and you can pull it up from your library and put it in there. I don't have another picture of a car available right now, but we'll just put in a bowl, for example. Let's see. I've got lots of pictures in my photo library. Let's put this little puppy dog in. So maybe we put the dog in there, right? And so you can adjust what image you want just like that on the fly by clicking that change image option and switching it to whatever you want. Same thing with the color. Maybe blue isn't a good choice for your student and you need to change the color of it by clicking properties, and then I can click select color and I can choose any color I want. So maybe red is more appropriate for my student. Instead of going back into properties each time, I could go back in and click properties, select color, and choose red again, or I can delete this blue circle and just duplicate the red circle and drag it over. So everything just seems a lot more innate and exactly where you'd want it to be as you're creating activities for your student. Another example for another literacy example is this one here. So we were working on sorting out AI and AY words. And so we've got the different colors at the top so that they kind of stand out, but we also have the word there at the bottom. So you could then drag that word up to where it belongs. And then maybe you can just quickly edit the word that the student is working on and giving them different examples for them to sort during their literacy centers. Another activity that we were working on was this activity sort with where different food goes. And so we have this picture of a bowl of ice cream. Our child in particular liked chocolate ice cream. And so we have this in a bowl that he's familiar with, and we have the chocolate ice cream because this is something that was what he was used to seeing. If your student is used to getting ice cream like a popsicle or a bar of ice cream from the freezer, then that's maybe the image you want to use instead. Again, you can just click on the image, click change image, and select the image from your photo library that you desire in order to make that possible. Are you guys using things that other people have created, things like CViConnect or things that you found on YouTube or PowerPoints or anything like that?
Literally right now, they're just using worksheets that have been copied.
Okay. So does this look like something that would be doable for your team to utilize and create accessible content with them?
Should be.
Okay, great, thanks. And if you have additional questions or if there's anything else you guys wanted to see today, please feel free to let me know. This is very much your time. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to join me. And so I want to make sure that any questions you came in or any expectations you had to see today, that I take the time to show you that. So if there's anything else you'd like to see in the system, I'd be happy to show that to you now before we close out the meeting. Here is our website, CViConnect.co, and my email address is stephanies@CViConnect.co. I love sharing what I know about CVI and our system with people, and just happy to answer any questions to figure out if this is a good fit for you and your team, and what else you might be looking for to help further your students with CVI. If there's anything that can help make your job easier. Like I said, I was a teacher for 10 years, and so I value your time. I understand that you have large caseloads most likely, and there's not a lot of TVIs out there. And so I know that we all kind of have to work together to make this possible. So if there's anything that you're looking for in a support tool that maybe we aren't currently offering, maybe I might know somebody that is, or I can help you figure out how maybe our system can help you with that solution for you. The link for our newsletter is now in the chat as well. Feel free to sign up and make sure you're getting the most updated information about the system. I just shared the YouTube link in here as well. If you don't have any more questions though, I will go ahead and end our meeting. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you see all participants loaded, the other CViConnect person, I guess, on the screen, that QR code that's on there is my business card. So if you have a camera with you, your phone with you, or anything like that, you can take a picture of that, and that will also link you to the links that I just posted into the chat as well. So if that's an easier way for you to access those, feel free to do that. Thank you, ladies, and I hope you have a good night.